Good company tonight, because our other guest is Al Pacino. Can you believe?
He's coming on here, is he?
No,
Well...
not quite. He's in a film. Shh. Tomorrow sees the UK.
You can't have too much eye candy on the couch.
It's true. It's
Right,
true.
ladies?
Well, it's all because tomorrow sees the UK cinema release of his latest Hollywood movie, Danny Collins, in which he plays a rock star who receives a letter sent by John Lennon 40 years too late.
Now, the film is loosely based on a true story of musician Steve Tilston, but the two have never met. That was until The One Show got involved.
John Lennon, Beatle, rebel, icon, and a man who imagined he was a true working-class hero. But he argued that money hadn't changed him, and in 1971, he wrote these words.
Being rich doesn't change your experience in the way you think. The only difference, basically, is that you don't have to worry about money.
He was writing in response to a fairly off-the-cuff comment from a 21-year-old Steve Tilston.
Green as the grass stays, green as they come. I was chasing some dream, I was being my own chosen.
Today, Steve is an award-winning singer and songwriter. But back then, he was just starting to get recognition.
I was doing this interview for Zigzag magazine, and I was being asked by the journalist, Richard Howell, if I received wealth beyond the dreams of avarice, etc., would it impact on my songwriting ability? So I said, if you get rich, you must change. Your experiences will be different. Life should be harder than making it by the time you're 23. It means you miss out on a lot of the conflict.
I always see myself playing music, whether or not I make a living out of it. Always. It's not all that important, really.
I was into the whole idea of the artist.
And you thought that fame and wealth would corrupt you somehow?
Damn right.
Unknown to Steve, John Lennon read the interview and didn't agree that being rich meant you couldn't connect with your audience. Lennon sent him a letter, care of the magazine, but it was never passed on to Steve. He had no idea that Lennon had written to him until one day in 2005 when he got a call from a rock memorabilia collector in the United States. He had the letter and sent Steve a copy.
You must have been astonished. How did you feel when you saw it for the first time?
It was a kind of whole maelstrom of emotions because, I mean, my first thing was this yearning. I wanted to ring that number. But of course the poor guy had been long dead.
Now Steve's story has been the inspiration for a Hollywood movie, Danny Collins.
Dear Danny Collins, stay true to yourself. Stay true to your music.
The actor who plays the central character is Al Pacino, and he agreed to talk to me about the role.
It gave me an opportunity to show off a little.
And play the rock star?
Play a rock star, you know, I mean, everybody wants to play a rock star.
Danny Collins sells out huge venues, but has also sold out the artistic ideals of his youth. It's a question every major rock star asks themselves.
Have you found ever that your own fame and wealth is sometimes a barrier to creativity?
Well, it certainly could be, and there are those moments, those passages in time that I remember not having the freedom, but you still try to take chances.
I'm a joke. I haven't written a song in 30 years. You're having a breakdown. I'm broken. Ain't nothing left to break. What would have happened if I got that letter when I was supposed to?
Steve.
But Pacino has never met the real person who inspired the screenplay, so The One Show has arranged for them to meet.
Good to
That's
see you.
great.
Yeah,
Good seeing you.
Let's have a look at the letter then. There's the copy
so
of
here
the
is the thing itself. So I don't know if you've seen a copy of that.
I did, I have.
Yeah.
Cannot really understand this man's writing, you know, but he's
shocking,
the greatest.
shocking handwriting.
He is the greatest. Could you tell us what the gist of it is?
Well, yeah, shall I read it then? So he wrote in and he said, being rich doesn't change your experience in the way you think. I know, I've been rich and poor. So has Yoko. She's been rich, poor and rich. And then he finishes, so what do you think of that? And then he's put his home phone number.
His home phone number.
So I would have been on the blower straight away.
But of course he would have.
Yeah, I would have been around there with my guitar.
There goes your life, you know, in another
you
direction.
Never know. I mean, yes,
that's
it's a road not travelled.
Lennon's music touched millions of people, despite the fact that he was a millionaire.
I ran into him once. It was at Central Park, West, near his home, and he just came out, and I saw him, and he looked at me, and he smiled, and I smiled back.
Do you think he recognised you?
Well, it was a wave. Yes, he did. Yeah.
Right. Did you speak?
No.
Oh,
just ships in the night. You know, but it was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was, interestingly enough, it was a memory that I've always held with me, you know.
I want to say, Steve Tilston, Al Pacino, thanks for talking to The One Show.
Oh, yes,
Lovely.
yes,
Lovely
my
to meet you.
pleasure.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
pleasure.
Thanks, Steve.
Al Pacino.
And they were having a lovely moment there, Al and
were.
Steve.
The three
weren't
of
they?
them
Which
were
is
getting on,
incredibly
weren't they?
relaxed. Isn't that
Yeah.
lovely?
Very
Now,
good.
obviously, you can look behind, as you can see, that we're joined now by the band of the Brigade of Gurkhas, who